whether it be tacos, tamales, carnitas, or pozole. Lots of food is in the celebration of many different Hispanic cultures. Today we're gonna be talking about the Hispanic culture. Like I said, we're gonna be talking about a quinceañera, Cinco de Mayo, and the Day of the Dead. Starting off with a quinceañera, according to Thought.co, it's a combination of a Spanish word of quince, which is años, or 15, and then años, which is years. It can also be referred to as a 15th birthday party, which can either be a quinceañera or a fiesta de 15 años. All right, let's start off with the history of a quinceañera. A quinceañera is a 15th birthday party where a young girl goes into a young woman. According to Media Times, the quinceañera is a tradition which was originated from the Spanish conquerors, which brought the tradition, but they also believe that it was brought to by the Aztecs. A quinceañera, you wear a big dress, and then you just look all pretty. And then the most traditional colors are like light colors, like this light pink. But they've also brought many different varieties, like navy blue and red. Moving on to how this tradition is celebrated. You first start off by going to a mass. You bring a bouquet and you bring it to the Virgin Mary as giving yourself to her. Then you go to a big party, celebrate with your family and friends. And then you have a father-daughter dance where the quinceañera dances with her father, as it's like the first dance of her dancing with him as a woman until it's the wedding. And then you get a zapatilla change, which is you change your heel into flat shoes, into heels, obviously. Moving on to why it's important. It can be important to many people for a variety of reasons. One being their religion. They can be very religious, and that can be the main part of it. It can also be the father-daughter dance. Many quinceañeras have lost their fathers, and they honor them by bringing a picture and still dancing with them. And a lot of people like to just party, just a young girl. And just in general, you're growing up, being happy. Now, let's move on to Cinco de Mayo. Starting off with the history. Okay, according to A&E Television, in 1861, Benito Juarez, a lawyer, a member of the indigenous Zapotec, he was elected for Mexico, and then they were already in ruins. So he was forced to pay to the French, who was ruling at the time was Napoleon III. Cinco de Mayo is the Battle of Puebla, which is Puebla, Mexico, against Napoleon III. The celebration, so they celebrate with big parades, festive dresses, and lots of food, of course. It is celebrated here in Omaha, in South O, on 24th Street with big parades, lots of people, lots of food, and lots of music. I don't know if you guys have been there, but it's pretty cool. Moving on to the importance. It was just important because a lot of Hispanics they're celebrating from their soldiers beating this war, which wasn't really Benito Juarez's fault since he was just elected into presidency. And they just like to celebrate their pride and their victory of that battle. Now let's move on to the Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead is celebrated in 2 days. It's on November 1st and November 2nd. On November 1st, it's celebrated for the infants that have passed away. November 2nd is a day for the adults to honor them. Moving on to the celebration, they set up ofrendas, which are altars for their families. They just set up pictures, put their favorite foods, some belongings that they left behind. They make a pan de muerto, which is just a bread. They put little people in it, and when you cut it and if you get the little person, you cook for the next big event. And then they lay out these yellow, orange, very vibrant flowers, which are called marigolds, out to set as like a path for the souls to come in. And then they go up to their graves and decorate them and leave them pretty just so they feel welcomed. According to the National Geographic, most schools set up like events to teach their students about these 2 days. They set up different lessons and like they like to color or whatever. The importance of this is that they're celebrating their loved ones. I mean, the theme could be death, but it's not like a Halloween. It's more of a remembrance. Now that we danced our way through all of these 3 different traditions, we went over a quinceanera, Cinco de Mayo, El Día de los Muertos, and then we went over the history, their celebration, and their importance. Thank you all for listening.